Hello, hello, hello. Welcome again. So I don't know if this one's gonna go on YouTube or not, but your boy messed up the birth time. So this has happened before, happens to the best of us. So this is what happened. So basically, I'm not gonna put this on YouTube. So I'm gonna just send it privately. Okay. So basically, yeah. For this one, let me actually message you right now for your email. Actually, no, I'll have your email. It's gonna be inside the order. Okay. So okay, this looks good. Okay. Perfect. So okay, so in this reading, basically, obviously I did a 2-hour one that was with the wrong birth time. So a lot of it is still gonna stick, right? And I'm gonna explain to you in a very non-confusing way. Because I hate to have that happen. It's like I told you before, it's happened like once or twice, or I can't remember. I know one time it happened for sure, and I can't remember if it happened another time. But the other time it happened, it was like very karmic, and it was like I don't know, like my guides or whoever wanted me to, like, maybe there's a message that I didn't like get out that was obviously like based on your wrong birth time. So I'm happy you caught that, and I apologize again. I'm very sorry. It really, it's very rare that I make a mistake like that, and if I do, I own up to it. So let's get right in. Could you imagine if I did this whole reading and then like the audio wasn't working? Like something like that. I swear, like with this one with my friend Payal, like when I first met her, like I was doing readings for her, like it happened like 2 or 3 times. Like one of them, like she was like, you sound like the chipmunks, like the whole time, like the audio was so fucked up. And like these things kept happening. I think I either did it 2 or 3 times. I can't remember, but I know for sure, like I had to like redo a bunch. Anyways, so all right. So actually, let me do this. So this is what's very interesting. So yeah, your chart changes a lot. Obviously, right? Because now I think you were a Virgo. No, am I crazy? You were a Virgo in the last one. Like last degree. Anyways, as a Libra, 0 degree Libra, it's a very so 0 degrees is a critical degree because it represents this in its 0 cardinal, which is the opposite of 0 Aries. So that's a huge degree to have a 0 degree Libra moon. And from a karmic perspective, it really has to do with the start of a new cycle, a new karmic cycle, right? Like your life is very, very much about that, right? So zoomed out from the first reading, I'm kind of like looking. So yeah, all these Scorpio planets are still, in the same area. They just basically get flipped because the ascendant for last one, I had the Scorpio as this first house. Now it's Taurus, which are opposite signs. So everything in your chart just gets flipped, which is crazy. But what's interesting about that is that it doesn't make everything from the first one so off, because in astrology, there's the law of opposites where it's the same energy, but like for example, like Scorpio and Taurus, right? Because you're Taurus rising, and I had you as Scorpio rising. It's the same energy, just an opposite manifestation, right? So I think there's definitely lots of synchronicities in that. But anyways, okay, let's move forward. So 6th house Sun in Libra, that is going to emphasize some Virgo-ness to you, which is interesting because that's like kind of, it's crazy. Now that I think of it, I think I've had this happen like more than one. I think I've had it happen. It's probably the 3rd time. And I remember like how in other, like I just had this memory. I don't know who was with, what client I was with, but I just remember like there was so much from like the fake reading or like the one where the time was messed up that actually got reinforced by this one. So let's see if some of that magic happens. But basically, so the fact that your sun is in Virgo in the sixth house is, no, sixth house is House of Virgo. So, Libra Sun, I don't have to tell you, about Libra Sun being on the cusp of beauty. It's really about the fact that it's 0 degrees. It's a very, pure, raw energy. And I need to figure out one thing. Why is it not? My computer has been like so annoying lately. I blame my computer for the time mishap. But I had something about critical degrees astrology 0 degree. Yeah, so I feel like it takes on a very like pure, like unbroken, untouched, and nature of the sign Libra. Like that's what that represents, like a fresh kind of quality to it, right? And like I said, there's something in astrology called the 0 Aries point, and your sun, your moon, or your sun, excuse me, is at the 0 Libra part, which is the opposite of the 0 Aries point. So yeah, really new beginning, really a new type of incarnation for you, right? You've conquered something and you are here to do something completely different. So I'm looking for this really quickly. So when we look at, so it's a new beginning with the energy of the sun in Libra. So it's like you've done lots of incarnations that have led you to this point, right? And Libra is about relationships, right? Libra is very, very much about relationships. So, but it's the sun. So maybe you're an artist, maybe, like you're something that is in the field of Libra, and everything is open to you, So, it's like very excited energy at new adventures, right? Looking ahead, like very optimistic, right? Not so held back by the karmic past. At least that aspect, right? You have Saturn in the 12th house, though, so we'll talk about that a little bit. I posted about that today, didn't I? But anyways, so how does that do with your moon? Perfect. I already talked about that last time. Like Gemini Moon, like Libra Sun, you have air sun, air moon, but you have to watch out for being a little bit overly, how could you say, I guess like aloof and detached. That's like one thing when you have a lot of air, like in your sun, your moon are in air, is that sometimes there can be a little bit of detachment. Detachment from the emotional nature, right? But you do have all those Scorpio energies, which are really channeled in the 7th house. So it's like you really like get a lot of your kind of emotional energies from the partnerships you're in, like relationships. But you do have the water, so it's not like you're lacking water. But basically, what's really cool about the air, double air, is that you're really able to see the other person's perspective in any situation, right? You're able to really easily put yourself in someone else's shoes and easily just socialize with different types of people. So it's very, very good for overall success. And then being Gemini Moon, I talked about all about it last one. It's so multi-talented, right? It's so multifaceted. It really like it just, it can get bored easily. I don't need to like go so far into like the things because I'm thinking that you watched that other one. But you get the point, right? It's like, it's very multifaceted. It's very curious, and it works well with Libra because Libra is very social and it's very sociable. It's good in different social situations. It's all about fairness. It's all about beauty. It's all about, and what's interesting is that you have a Taurus rising. So that means you're a double Venusian. You're a Venusian. That's what you are. You're a Venusian. Makes your chart ruled by Venus, which is in Scorpio in the 7th house. So how do these three connect? Well, they connect quite beautifully, if you ask me, because Taurus is a sign before Gemini, right? So you're Taurus rising, and in essence, like one sign after the other, it has to do with the progression, right? So Taurus rising is going to make you very grounded, kind of like approaching life in a very balanced way, a way where you'll like the kind of tried and true, like what's known. But with the Gemini moon, there's also going to be this real love, for on one end being grounded, and you're going to have a very grounding effect on people. Like, you'll be very, like, you'll have a very attractive energy, like an aura that's very, very laid back. And Taurus risings, they're just like, they're so approachable. They're so approachable. They usually have like a big smile on their face. They love to engage in like, the things that feel good, not just sex. I mean, just like, like they like to have nice food. They like to take life slow. But then you have this dynamic Gemini moon that's all about movement and social butterfly type energy. And then your Libra sun, it's very, it's kind of like a good middle ground, even though it's trining, it's in the same element as your moon. It's co-ruling Venus, just like your ascendant. So your ascendant and your sun, and it's 0 degrees, are like able to meet at that common ground of creation and fun, and like how you set yourself apart, right, from other people, through your creations, or not necessarily in a competitive way, but like how you find yourself. That's more like it, like through your creativity. With creativity also, I would say that you kind of have to watch out for being a little bit too harsh on yourself and too structured when it comes to your creative process of whatever you do. Like, I think in this life, you're really like, you're definitely like a past life mystic. There's no doubt about that. But in this life, you're really trying to like figure out how, because you're so good at going with the flow in life, and you're so good at like just being this dreamer, this person that kind of like goes from tree branch to tree branch, and doesn't really worry and allows the universe to take care of them. But in this life, it's like, how can you take all of that wisdom and tie it into something that's more like for the world, right? That's more like for example, like a book, or like or a service, right? It's even better than the example is of service. That's what North Node Virgo is all about, right? Being of service. But fifth house, can you be of service to yourself? Can you be of service to yourself karmically, by allowing that 0 degree new Libra energy, right, to create with no inhibitions, which the Virgo fifth house sometimes gets in the way of, right? And with your Mercury, your mind, your brain in Virgo, which is a very strong placement, it's in dignity, makes you very intelligent, but there can be a tendency to be a little bit overly analytical, right? So it's like, how can you allow, but it's in the fifth house. So like your mind and your communication, it's focused on creating, right? It's focused on having fun, on that inner child energy. Sorry, I keep grabbing my nose. I think I did this last reading too. I don't even know what's going on. I wonder if that means something. Like if you're like scratching your nose, that means someone's thinking about you or talking about you. Who knows? But okay, so your Mercury, which beautifully is making a trine to your ascendant and a sextile to your Venus. So right off the bat, that's amazing. So that means that you're going to be able to, I would imagine that maybe you're like able to do something that like as a job with your voice. Maybe you're a singer. Maybe you're someone who's able to like really soothe people with your voice. Mercury trine ascendant, but also it doesn't have to be singer. It has not everything has to be like profession. It's also just like the fact that you like your way of thinking comes across very well to other people, right? Like your ideas and your communication, like some people that like if they have like a square of like Mercury in the ascendant, like they might come across too harsh or too like, wow, like they just like, maybe their message is fine. Like I imagine that you like your Libra energy mixed with the with the Virgo, you know, it makes you come across like a very good mix of grounded while also dynamic, like grounded and dynamic. Like you're able to, like, you're very unboring, you're very fun, you're very like, but you're also, you have your shit together, you know? So bring it back to the past life stuff. In past lives, there may have been like an irresponsibility, right? Where you're like so part of like a tribe, which is good. And I'm not gonna lie, I never do this, but I did look at your Instagram profile. Just because like I usually never do with clients. I didn't like look at that long, but I saw a picture of you like in like with a bunch of people at like a festival. I think I already told you that, because I told you that you should join Cosmos. I think I forget. Anyways, yeah. I sure my eye. What was I gonna say? So yeah, like that's very South Node. That's good, but it's like, how can you use that energy, right? Of like you can be this person that naturally like finds their way into like their spiritual clan, right? But then it's like, how can you use that to get a little bit of time on your own, where you're finding yourself, where you're individual, like going through individualization. Now that can be, so that's why, like, when it comes to relationships, this is where it gets a little bit tricky, in my opinion, even though it's a sextile. Well, there's a sextile between Mercury and Venus anyways, which means that your voice is very sweet and that you're able to really communicate with tons of love with your partner, with anyone romantic or anyone in general, right? Especially children too. But because your 7th house has Venus in it and Mars, I have that too, and Chiron, you're a very relationship focused person. You're probably not like the kind of person that's single very often, especially being a Libra and a Gemini Moon. You like to experience life, and you definitely love relationships. But like, I think a big part of your life is service, like being service focused, right? Your 6th house sun, your North Node in Virgo, but like service, but also like the question of like, how can I be a truer or more authentic version of myself through whatever I create, whether it's children, whether it's poetry, whether it's whatever the hell it is. There's a million different potentials. But not like it's great to be a part of a group, but making sure that you don't lose your identity within the group, if that makes sense. Okay. How can that be problematic with the 7th house? Like I told you about like your Mars in Scorpio and your Venus in Scorpio. You get it, right? You get that energy is intense, and it's channeled into the 7th house, which is the house of relationships. So all this Scorpio energy, which is like so like two souls becoming one, like tantric, like think like death, rebirth, transformation within love, you know, like it's like the most like intimate, like that's so relationship oriented. So it can be difficult to find that alone time, to find that space. So it's like, you know, you're and with these energies, you'll want relationships that are more like close, like more intimate. Like you're like the opposite of me. Like I'm like all this in Aquarius. So I'm way more detached when I'm in relationships. I'm way more like needing space and things like that. But like Scorpio energy, you know, and you do have lots of air. So you actually with your sun, your moon, so you actually may have that tendency just naturally from your personality. But it's like, you know, the Scorpio, Mars, and Venus in the 7th house, they want to be close. They want to have these like life-changing, soul-changing relationships, right? Karmic relationships. And I said last time, it's very, very like sexual placement to have Mars and Scorpio, like sexual energy. I think I try to make that specific too, like not just sex. I'm talking like sexual energy, like energy of like you have like a lot of that. So that energy of creation, right? You know, like sexual energy is all energy, and having Mars and Scorpio, it makes you full of that. So it's like how to channel that. And of course, there's always going to be room for like the important relationships, important romantic relationships. But then also the North Node here, it's like, how can that be done within like your own way? So like what, like your own way of like maybe inner child work, right? That's like I guess I don't really need to share the screen on this one. Actually, I'll share it for a second. Okay. So yeah, you see what I'm saying is like, this is like the 5th house. So it's just like having the North Node there. It's an indication that in prior lifetimes you've been really, really there. Like it kind of goes against what I've been saying, because it's like you have been someone who's been of service in past lives. You have been someone who's been humanitarian. You've been very mystical. You've been very, like witch vibes potentially, like maybe not witch, but you get what I mean. Just like spiritualist, occultist, whatever it is, living like person, like connected to the earth, magic type stuff. In this life, it's like, all right, how can we be, of service how can I be of service to humanity through, oh, this is it. How can you be of service to humanity by also being of service to yourself? So that's the big question, karmic question. It's like, by whatever you're doing, you're also helping other people, but it's all like, for example, look at this. Let's think of a great example as a singer, right? I know I've said that a few times. I have bad examples. Like a singer who like they're doing it for their own creative process, right? Or for their own creative growth, for their own getting authentic expression, all that. But then other people are getting to listen to it. So other people are benefiting from it. So it's for service, but also it can be broken up into two different ways, where on one hand, it's really important to have this like artistic, whatever and some people, it takes time to find it. Who knows? And you can have many. You're a Gemini moon, so you can have like lots of different things going on, but that artistic outlet, creative outlet, physical outlet, whatever it is, having that, and then also having that way where you're giving back to humanity, right? Super, super important. Hey, Mika. Okay, you can come on my lap. You want to say something, Mika? Look at the camera, at least, Mika. Come on, Mika. Mika. Yeah. Wait, what is your default microphone has changed? What the fuck? Why did you say that? That's so weird. Okay. I just need to check to make sure that everything's still recording. That'd be so horrible. Oh God, whatever. My computer's so laggy. Okay, let's just stop share. Okay. Audio. Okay. Hello. Yeah, so it still works. Okay. So we're good. I just need to make sure, because I've had that. I told you I've had that happen. It's the worst thing ever. Do an entire reading and not have it be like heard for some reason. All right. So yeah. So those two different types of service are very, very important for you. So then you also have your part of fortune in Leo, which I talked about before, which is basically saying that like when you're able to like be your inner child and really, really create, that's like amazing. That's like almost like in like a unapologetically yeah, it's not selfish. It's like selflessly selfish. I don't know, but like really creating structures in your life where you can like try tons of different things, and then eventually you'll because you're Gemini moon. Gemini moons need to try a lot, right? They need to like experience life in a lot of different ways. And with relationships, it's the same thing. I said that last time, that the relationships like they need to be like very fun. They need to be very fun. There's but also intense. There's like a childish but also like very intense and like scorpionic vibe to it, right? Like very deep. And it's mixing those two that's important. Like, I can imagine someone like very like, there's like 1 second like having tons of fun, like traveling, like just being a free spirit, all that. but then also the next second having that deep heart-to-heart conversation, you know, or maybe a fight that turns into that, because you have Chiron there too, in that house, 7th house, which is going to speak to, you know, in this lifetime, you're really, a big part of your healing is the psychological wounds that would come from relationships, and healing your psychological Scorpio wounds through 7th house relationships, like partnerships, you know. But yeah, like 7th house Venus, it really allows you to see the beauty and see the really good things in your partner. You have to watch out for codependency though. So this is actually, it makes you super, super Libra. So this changes your chart a lot, because 7th house, 3 planets there, and then being a Libra, you really have to watch out for that, that codependency where too much of that person's life, you're too invested in that other person, in your partner's life, and you're not allowing, all sides of yourself to come out. So I just got cat hair in my mouth. She's shedding her winter coat. I can feel it. I'm just gonna get so much fur everywhere, but whatever. It's on my lap now. Also, you have a 6th house. Oh, another thing. Speaking of animals, 6th house rules animals, and your son's there, so you might really benefit from. In Vertex in the 6th house, you literally might like have like a doorway to higher awareness through animals, like literally, like, and then you have the like you might Virgo, North Node, that like you can like benefit spiritually through association with animals. Very interesting. So let's see. So healing in relationships is a huge theme. Nothing changes about the fact that Venus is in Scorpio, and that's a placement where you want to, find that like marriage, like soulmate, not just a marriage partner, like the soulmate, right? And you want to like share all the deepest parts of your life, and just super intense, and also lots of sexual intensity and intimacy. Like you couldn't be with someone where they're like just kind of like, I mean, I don't know, I don't like saying you couldn't be with someone, but like I think like for Scorpio, Mars, and Venus people, like there's a certain like the person really needs to meet them at that place, right? Like they can't really do shallow, even though the Gemini Moon can, like, the Gemini Moon is a part of you that can do the small talk. It can do whatever job, like if the job requires like, just kind of like having like let's say like sales, for example, like where you have to like do lots of small talk. Like Gemini Moons can do whatever it takes. Like they're so freaking versatile. But like the 7th house part, and you add Pluto in the 8th house, it's just like they're gonna want to, you're gonna want to just like step away from that. You're gonna want to step into the depths of Scorpio and of, the esoteric, and understand the undercurrents of life and all this and that. And then how can you channel that into some type of creative outlet? Vertex also in the 6th house, your doorway to higher awareness is going to come through Libra service. Libra service is it can be like doing something of beauty for humanity in some way, right? I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. So yeah, I mean, like I really don't like talking about sun signs. Like everyone knows their sun sign, but like 6th house also, 6th house sun, it's so important. It's like, you like you have to watch out. Like you'll be a very organized worker, most likely. A lot of people with 6th house is like the house of servants. So sometimes like it's a very karmic house, like where you can like really like be like not be a servant, obviously, but you know what I mean? Like a very good like you're like employee or something. Lots of people like, but you only have your sun there though. So it's like not necessarily that. And I don't really see that for you. But yeah, I just think that, it's important, like to not be like too much of a workaholic, like, to kind of balance those things out. And the Libra is always balancing, right? So balancing out like fun and work, not too much in one of them, right? Because your Virgo North Node, it does want you to come here and work and to be organized and to be healthy. But yeah, it's like having a routine, like a solid routine is very important for a 6th house sun person. And just like helping to alleviate the suffering of humanity, really. And yeah, you can like really shine in your workplace. So it's like, but like then you do have your midheaven, which rules career. Your midheaven is in Capricorn in the 9th house. So it's like, and it's connected to Neptune. So it's like your work is going to be very, very much based on compassion and based on what Neptune is all about, which is like also art. It could be art, anything art, imagination, compassion. It rules screens and cameras also, and like illusions, but like high spirituality, So it can either mean you're meant to be like some type of like master or teacher in that way, or because midheaven is also just like how you come off to other people. Like it's like how you come off on social media, right? So like being able to like help people in that way. So maybe like it's something you do like on social media or or like in some type of creative way where you're uplifting yourself and getting deeper into yourself, like poetry, whatever, who knows? But then it's also helping other people. But like midheaven in Capricorn makes Saturn rule the midheaven, which Saturn is in the 12th house, which we really have to talk about, retrograde in Aries. But yeah, so that can make kind of push someone back a little bit, because there can be like these, like you definitely need to learn lots of lessons about patience and self-reliance. But like with the 12th house, you can fear anything hidden. So 12th house Saturn, I think I read about it today. What did I say? It was in one, like I made a post that was like what like some of the most difficult aspects, or like random, and it wasn't all of them. I just put like random ones. So I said Saturn in the 12th house, they can have a distorted view of their own dilemmas, and that and feel that theirs are insurmountable and more difficult than other people's. They're recluse that might accept loss too easily. There can be a certain disability to fight their problems head on. Yeah. So it's like there can be like lots of like hidden phobias, like being afraid of what you can't see, like anything hidden because you feel your own boundaries are constantly being threatened. So it's really important with Saturn 12th house to have an examination of the hidden realms. And then a lot of these like phobias or fears or whatever they are, like people with 12th house Saturns can be like scared of ghosts, for example, or like they have to like sleep with like the lights on, or they're, they can be very afraid of the unknown, but you're a spiritual person. So I imagine that you've gotten past a lot of this. But yeah, Saturn 12th house can really hold people back from like connecting to like the connection of that oneness of humanity, right? By the way you messaged me though, I'm just going to say this right now. It's just very interesting. I just noticed this has nothing to do with your reading, but I think you'll enjoy this. So I just saw this massive contrast. Like right before I did this reading, I got a message from a client. I had my busiest month ever last month. This month, sadly, I'm not as good as last month, but no, it's really random. I had like a crazy month, and I had this girl message me, and she was like, basically like, where's my reading? Like not like in like such like kind of B-wordy like language, but it was very much like, like she could have been more graceful about it, and I answered gracefully, but like I compare that to like how you messaged me with your, Venus and Mercury. And I mean, I feel like so free doing this reading now. I just want to say, so that probably has something to do with your energy. Like it's very expansive, very freeing. Like you feel very like you can create around, very non-judgmental. And yeah, like I think that you just like because you're like that, you can bring out the best in other people. This is kind of never mind. I just had a weird memory of like a crystal I used to have that isn't this crystal, and I don't know where that crystal is. But anyways, yeah. So that is just something I wanted to just kind of randomly add in there. That like, you know, the great, very like that's just like the beauty of Libra, like how you approach that situation, the messages you sent me, like yeah, and you can imagine how that kind of energy and attitude impacts all areas of life. So going back to the career stuff, like yeah, like finding a way to be a service to humanity and bringing that kind of, and like having like that voice, because your voice can work in different areas. It can work, cat hair. It's just like a one hair. It can work in corporate America. It can, okay, I don't want to use corporate America, but it can work like in like with like other spiritual people. It can also work with other non-spiritual people. So it's like being able to connect different worlds, right? Like, while some people are just stuck in one of those worlds, right? So yeah, I see lots of energy that's kind of pointing to that. But also like really taking care of yourself, taking care of your physical and mental health is super important. And yeah, the Saturn stuff, 12th house of fears, very true. And it's retrograde. So Saturn, you know, retrograde. I read something so cool earlier. Where is it? Okay, so Saturn retrograde, it's like redoing a lifetime. It's like you might even feel like you're because like I know I just said the stuff about like the 0 degrees Libra, but that's just what the site says. I found out. I've been showing this to people. But it's all about like knowing that your soul has achieved spiritual maturity required to redo some aspect of a different lifetime. Because I feel like it's a new beginning, but then I feel like the Saturn in the 12th house stuff, it's like an old soul who has advanced far enough on the spiritual path. Now you have incarnated to perfect one aspect from past lives. So yeah, it's like a mix of like there is this real mix of like new beginnings and then like closing out like old aspects, right? And it's in Aries too, so that's the first sign. So to me, it kind of makes me think that, you know, you do have like probably this old soul, but then youthful energy at the same time. So then you have tons of like luck when it comes to everything that has to do with career, with Jupiter and Uranus there, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's go house by house. Okay, so Taurus, you know, ruling your first house, making Venus rule your charts. That makes you like reliable, stable, you know, very, very sensual. I already kind of talked about that with your ascendant in Taurus. And it is feminine, so sometimes it can be a little bit like, but you do have Mars in Scorpio, so that kind of pushes that away. So you will be an assertive person, but you'll be very graceful in how you do things, and you'll really like security. You know, and your moon in the second house, so I would think that like financial security would be something that's important for you. It's not like an obsession. And the thing with people with moon in the second house is that they need that security, but the big lesson is that some of them depend too much on the external. But the big lesson spiritually is that they learn to figure out, okay, what I'm seeking is within me. And then when they find that, or within, without, they realize, okay, like I'm protected, because you do have a financial guardian angel, like with the 10th house, or like career guardian angel with the 10th house Jupiter. But second house moon, it can also make you kind of go up, the finances and all that stuff go up and down to test. But once you learn the lesson about how important it is to, you know, find the internal values, internal sense of security, then that kind of stabilizes, right? Yeah, so the Taurus first house ruling the body, Venus is ruling that. So Venus, you know, your ruler of your chart, and Venus in Scorpio, it makes it a super important planet. And once again, very relationship oriented person, very creative person, a person that exudes this like very beautiful, lovely energy that's a mix of like free kind of like, you know how Taurus is, like it's just like just so laid back and all that, with this deep, mysterious, like mystique, intrigue that Scorpio has. You see how these two kind of come together? So that most likely like brings like, you know, people that have Taurus rising, like people just tend to be quite popular, from my experience, or at least well liked. And then, so second house ruled by Gemini. So that's like making you full of money, making ideas. It's like kind of hustler energy. But you have to watch out for overspending, and you can really value your intellect and your ability to like be witty and think of plans and stuff. With the moon of the second house, I already talked about that. Like seeking emotional security through possessions, right? I said that like those can go up and down. So it's really all about the inner resources. And with the Gemini moon also, it's like it's another part of that is that it's seeking you ask the questions and then you seek the answers, right? And also, Gemini moons, they have an emotional need to talk. They can be chatterboxes, right? But it can be really channeled in beautiful ways. And like maybe when you're younger, you were like called upon by your mother to provide like stimulation. But overall, it's just like it's a beautiful. It's just it's a multi-talented energy, intellectually curious, and just versatile in life, emotionally versatile. Hey, me and you have opposite moons. That's cool. I know that. Did I say it last time? I think so. Anyways, so third house ruled by the moon. So, you might have like close, if you have siblings, you might have like close emotional relationships with them. Third house is like how you speak, how you think. So you will really enjoy sharing your feelings, and insights, and kind of like speaking about the emotional aspects of things, even if it's like in a kind of Gemini way. It's like mixing Gemini with Scorpio, right? It's very interesting. It's like people might expect you to be less deep than you are, like just based off of like kind of like just meeting you like right away. Then they're like, wow, this person's so freaking deep. But then again, like on social media, because your midheaven's Capricorn and it has Neptune on it, it's going to give you this kind of like very spiritual feel. So if you ever wanted to be doing something like, for example, like what I do, like on my Instagram, you would have a huge advantage with the fact that you have Neptune conjunct the midheaven, right? Because like people would see that Neptune is high spirituality. It's the dreamer. You'd come off kind of like Pisces, but still responsible. That's like kind of like how you'd come off, like if you were like if you were like famous, or if you like just like to people that don't like know you like face to face, that like just kind of see you from a distance. That's kind of how you come off. So then, Leo ruling the fourth, that is basically saying that you like to have fun with your family, and you take pride in your family, and also your home, and you like to like allow yourself to be your inner child. I have this hair still, and maybe being like the center of attention in the home environment, but you really like to be able to like within the home with your family, and your part of fortune's there too, which is really stating that this is a very positive part for you, or area of life, family. And I would guess so also with the fact that your sun and your moon are both in the same element. Yeah, just liking to have fun and let that inner child out. It was very cool. So then the Virgo, I talked about that ruling the fifth. You also have Juno there and Black Moon Lilith. I think I said a lot about your Black Moon Lilith and Virgo, which is like that whole perfectionism thing, and how I feel like you're like trying to become like a witch, and like I know that that's a weird word. I never really say it. I never really know what I mean. Like an alchemist, like there's like this past life, like you've been like trying to like gain your powers, but like it's like in this life it's like earth magic, right? It's like herbs and stuff like that, like that's what's really huge. And then so yeah, with the fifth house Virgo, you can find it like just like it's like I have fifth house, or actually no, I don't. What am I talking about? But it's like basically like you can be very methodical with your pastimes and your games, which is cool because you can like, it can make you a really good problem solver, but you can also like enjoy your work, and you can also like turn what's fun to you into money, into your job, into your like, you know what I mean? So there's like a link between the fifth because it's ruled by Mercury, which is in its own house. So that's very interesting. And also I want to say one other thing with the fact that your fourth ruler is in the sixth is that there's a chance that you might like work in some type of way with family members. And also like, yeah. So like maybe there's like some type of like family business or like something that something of that sort. Like, or like giving back, like doing something like for the humanitarian good, like with family members. But also I connected to like Mika. I need her off me now. I need to sit like cross legs. Like some real karmic, some real deep karma of like a mission with your family, potentially like with the ancestors too. Who knows? So then in this fifth house, you know, I mean, just the fact that the North Node, Mercury is conjunct the North Node, you know, I take that as like you're here to really work that throat chakra. You're here to really like find the authentic truth and then say that truth in a way that's very understandable. So perfect example, let's say that you, just for the sake of argument, because I know you're creative and you can like take this in another direction. Let's say you're doing something similar to what I do on Instagram. Let's say you did tarot. I don't fucking know, whatever. No, okay, just whatever. Okay, just an example. So you're doing your own version of what I do. And let's say it's not tarot. Let's say it's something more of like what Feel Good does. Like you're giving like channeled like messages. You're doing videos where you talk about different things, right? More like philosophy, just making content. The goal would be to take that wisdom, that Pisces South Node energy that's kind of hard to put into words, and put it into understandable words that even the skeptical person could understand. Now my other cat has come. That's what I mean by the Virgo conjunct the North Node, right? And then with Black Moon Lilith there, conjunct Mercury, it's like watching out for perfectionism and how that creeps into your mind, because that's a sickness. I know I talked about that last time, but just like watching out for that. And I said the thing, right, about like this, like, what's the best I can do today on a scale of 0 to 100? If it's 60, fine. If it's not, fine, whatever. And just continuing like that, right? Each day is its own day, its own life, excuse me. And that is extremely important, that you don't get too down yourself and that you allow yourself to fail when you fail. That's, you know, Black Moon Lilith conjunct Mercury can make someone like, because you see so much, you observe so much, and you're a Libra, so you hate. I said this last time. You have to really watch out for, like, I think I said this. Like, Libras are so obsessed with the balance, but like with the Black Moon Lilith conjunct Mercury, you might like know exactly what it is that you can say that can like hurt someone, not because you have all that Scorpio energy too, and just like being very calm, not letting yourself kind of like boil up and just like say that thing, right? Because you're very witty. You know, you could be like a lawyer with the, you know, Gemini Moon. I know he's not like the most famous person, but the Russian president is someone I think I can think about with a Gemini Moon. He's definitely not stupid. So yeah. Also more love stuff, you know, Juno in Virgo, it's like really seeking consistency also in the partner. I think I said that last time too. And it goes back to that mix of consistency and fun. You know, maybe someone that you can like work with in a creative way. Like maybe maybe you're a creator. I don't know if you are, and maybe you'd be attracted to someone who's also a creator, but someone who's not like someone who's like serious about it, you know, who has ambitions around really, really doing it and putting in the work. Because it takes work to like even do what I do. It takes work, you know, like I can't just like sit on my laurels and have clients come to me. I have to make posts every day. I have to do this and that, you know, and do lots of stuff. It's very easy to fail. And that's kind of what I'm seeing with that. So having a partner that can kind of help build your empire, build your outlet, influence you maybe too. But yeah, with a North Node on Mercury, you know, it's just like, I just think of throat chakra and authenticity, and not giving into the masses, not giving into like the consensus reality, and just finding your own voice and stating it in a way that's so like you. It's so you. And I want to see if there's any. I'll share it now. And I thought about it. I was like, I guess I probably will put this on YouTube. Okay, let's just see. I just want to see if there's anything conjunct. It's kind of far away though. Yeah, so your Venus is conjunct Astronomia. I said it before, but what degree? Okay, I'll stop sharing this. I think it was like 17. So I think you're safe. There's one Serpent something asteroid in Scorpio. I think it's like 16. So it's a very difficult one. I think you just missed it. Let me, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, I'll look into that a little bit later. Yeah. So like the whole thing with balance, like in Libra, and like people pleasing potentially is like very important, especially because it's like such a pure 0 degree, you know, Libra Sun, which is like, it's new, and it can be like prone to like the early mistakes of being a Libra, which is like putting too much of yourself out there at the and basically like putting other people before you. It's like, I don't want to break the peace and harmony in this environment, so I'll put other people before myself. Kind of what it is. So learning to kind of have boundaries is super, super important, and to, you know, be assertive and learn to bark back if someone like comes at you. Obviously, a tit for tat, the eye would be, the world would be blind. You don't want to like, you know, go for that revenge, and that Scorpio part of you definitely can do that. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's just like having boundaries and learning to like have that communication, which is why I make this link. North Node, your highest destiny point, linked to Mercury. And then you're a Libra. Could that be that karmically you're really meant to learn boundaries? Because that's what Virgo is about, boundaries too. It's an earth sign. And that you're really meant to learn to like, one, communicate your truth on like a spiritual level, which I don't think, I feel like maybe in past lives you maybe held back from that a little bit. It's definitely there, but like really being able to speak the truth to maybe people that won't understand it, and still say it, and not only be around people that like have the same values as you too, right? But with this, it's like speaking your, like defending yourself, you know, and having boundaries with people. If it's like a toxic friendship or relationship, like karmically, maybe it's difficult for you to step in there, right? And be like, hey, like I don't want to be friends. So yeah, that's very important. And okay, so all the aspects stay the same. The cat hair. From the last reading. Yeah. So, you know, Mars, you know, it's conjunct Pluto. They're in different houses though. So, and different signs, more importantly, in different houses, different signs, obviously. So it's just like, yeah, I guess just, I talked about that last time. I don't want to go into that. It's kind of like debatable. It's like, if they were both in Scorpio 8 degrees away, I'd be talking about it, but I don't know. I mean, I guess like from the, like I talked about that volcanic energy and how it's just like all about physical, like how you're going towards your life. Actually, they do make sense because it's in the 8th house. Like basically, it's like there's definitely a need for like a physical outlet, and it kind of pushes you like because it pushes you towards that eighth house, towards that death, rebirth, transformation, towards that studies of the, of all the esoteric and occult. Like you're going in that direction. But eighth house Pluto. Let's talk about this a little bit. Let me get out my Pluto book. And let's just kind of talk about how it relates to the rest of the chart. So Pluto in the eighth house wants a challenge from past lives, its pre-existing sense of identity, its needs, talents, and resources. So Pluto in its own house represents a deep confrontation with the parameters of what we are and what we are not. Symbolic forms of power, such as people, money, rituals, occult, sexuality, in order to osmose that power into themselves. So it meant like taking symbolic forms of power, like sexuality, people, money, rituals, in order. Okay, so there's a theme of attraction, repulsion. And the essence of this dilemma is rooted between the discrepancy between the ego's and soul's desires, which can become locked in a great struggle. The soul wants empowerment and expansion through new knowledge and new ways of deeply relating to others in the world, while the ego requires security through familiarity, seeking to defend its own comfort zone from the powers to transform. So that goes back to like the moon, the second house, and the ascendant in Libra or in Taurus, where it's like the battle between the external, obsession with the external to make you feel like at peace with the moon, or the internal. So it's very much about going deep. A huge part of your life is the opposition of Taurus and Scorpio. I'm gonna be doing an opposite. I started already, but I'm gonna do an opposition series on my Instagram. But I would also go seek out information on the opposition of Taurus and Scorpio and just learn about the archetypes at play. It's super important for you karmically. But yeah, so the ego requires security through familiarity, seeking to defend its own comfort zone from the powers to transform. So it's like the ego is like wants security and it's not willing to take risks. And some people that have a lot of Taurus, they can be afraid of risk taking, right? And that's like on a spiritual level, as much as a physical level. So it's really important because the soul wants empowerment and expansion through new knowledge and new ways of deeply relating to others in the world, trying on new things, right? So super important, which goes back to your finding your voice and having that assertiveness function to say no, because you know that you have so much in your life. You have such a powerful presence and such a important reason to be here that, like, if someone feels like they're holding you back, or if there's any like situation, like environment, like learning to like have the power to move past that, because you do have that power. You're freaking Mars and Scorpio. That's an indignity. Okay, and there could be past lives of power / powerlessness. Intimacy can become an obsession, really intense relationships, which goes back to your Scorpio energy, which I feel like that's probably a sign you really connect with. Scorpio, because you have a 8th house Pluto, which is, that's the natural house of Pluto. And Pluto is Scorpio, right? And then you have 2 planets in Scorpio. So yeah, so that's really important message. So 6th house ruled by Libra, going back to the order I was doing everything in. What am I doing? Okay, so 6th house ruled by Libra. In 1 sec, I want to go into some notes here really quick. Let's put you back on here and just make sure the audio is still working. I just keep getting paranoid. I need to check it one more time. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, thank God. All right. Okay, I'm paranoid. Satisfied. So, okay, so 6th house, Libra, that just speaks of like a balanced daily routine, harmonious daily routine. If you're at work, like liking to cooperate with your coworkers, and it just like creates like very good energy for finding the right job and really wanting to work in a very beautiful, like peaceful environment with people that your chart is a chart of someone that can definitely like really enjoy whatever work they do, right? And then Taurus rising is a fixed rising sign. So that really gives you the ability to, like, once you start something, to really follow through and be very consistent in life, which, of course, having a Gemini moon, it can be very back and forth, but then you're also a cardinal sign, Libra sun, which Libra is, it's a sign of commerce, it's business, right? Like, it's the scales. So they can be very, very good at all kinds of stuff, very multi-talented. So then Scorpio, 7th house cusp, we already talked about this. You're going to seek out like intense relationships that are life-changing, that are, you're getting tons of positive growth, karmic soul growth through them. Sometimes you have to watch out for like manipulation, drama, kind of the negative sides of Scorpio in relationships. That's like the one area of life where like that darkness can really come out, and a lot of shadow work can be done through that. But one other thing is you have to watch out for codependency, because you're a Libra already, and then you have your Venus and Mars in 7th house. So it's like very important to like not take too much, like to have relationships, even though you're going to want that intimacy and that depth, that soul connection, to not have like that other person like consume you too much, right? Because you still have a lot of karma where you're trying to like, be your own person and really grow yourself on that level, right? What else can I say about Mars and Scorpio besides it's a passionate warrior? I imagine you could be like a dramatic person at times, not in a bad way. It's a very vengeful opponent. I talked about that before. Mars and Scorpio, I mean, look it up. It's that and Aries are the two best Mars placements. You can get your needs met. You have this real psychological lie detector. You go towards death, rebirth, and transformation. You go towards, that's probably why you've grown so much, because you're so young. You feel you've grown a lot. It's because the Mars and Scorpio is like the psychological warrior, where they just go towards their shadow. Like they're like not repressing shit. They just go right towards it. Right. And then Venus, in Scorpio, like they're gonna exhibit a lot of those scorpionic traits within relationships, and they'll really value, they're looking for that soulmate, and they'll really value intimacy, privacy. So you're gonna be a very private person, and if a relationship doesn't have like that like those things I just mentioned, along with the Gemini moon need for like variety and change, you could just get bored very easily, and then just like not want to be with someone anymore. Like it's like they really need to meet you. So it's a specific kind of person. It's not to say that they have to be a certain sign or a certain makeup or a certain way. They just have to like to be, you have to feel seen in those ways, because those are such important parts of you. And the fact that you have Chiron opposite the ascendant, on the descendant, is it just talks about painful relationships. I'm sure like earlier in your life, or maybe still, I don't know, like that there can be feelings of rejection by partners, but like you learn a lot through your partners, and you might have like one special partner or several ones that teach you to overcome a lot of this, and they also teach you to overcome lots of those Saturn 12th house fears. And it could be the opposite too, where you're the one that teaches your partner. But overall, you have you're here karmically to heal your relationships, your karmic relationships. So 9th house, 8th house, Sag, I talked about that already. You're very expansive. Pluto's there, so it's like you're really here to go through this like really intense death, rebirth, transformation, and you'll have like this like very openness and large perspective. Sorry, it's scratchy. What is it? I literally think it's my cats. But you'll have this like perspective about like the occult, the esoteric, the astrology, the psychology. Like you're a very psychologically oriented person, and you're gonna have this like larger, zoomed out perspective on these types of matters. Just really, really good. 9th house Capricorn. That's good for higher education. You'll like people that have that, like if they're travelers, they'll be like quite well organized and like do the research beforehand, like know where they're going. And traveling may be part of the business. It's ruled by Saturn. Ninth house ruled by Saturn. 12th house. There could be lots of past life karma. Lots of it might be through your travels and through your metaphoric and physical travels that you're breaking down some of these like phobias and fears. Okay, so 10th house is ruled by, and then you have Neptune in the 9th house, which basically that 9th house Neptune person is going to be like very different when it comes to like their belief systems. Like they're not going to be like the especially if they grew up like in a family where like religion was like forced on them, they're going to be very like disappointed with that. And they're going to want to like they'll have their own they're usually it's like a very spiritual person for sure. 9th house Neptune, I mean, 9th house is like your beliefs, your truth. Neptune is like that high imagination, Pisces energy, just like otherworldly. So you're going to be always like seeking for this, right? I like that placement. And it's also, you can be searching for like on this like search, 1 second, for the perfect philosophy. 1 sec. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. So I want to see one thing now. Okay, I was over here. I want to open my Neptune notes because I know the Neptune 9th house. There's something I'm forgetting. Yeah, so I said like searching for the perfect philosophy. It's a great placement, especially for spiritual people. It gives you a tremendous faith in the divine, like just super, super connected to the divine. And its expansive traits strengthen the mystic powers of Neptune, enhancing its otherwise passive functions. So making this person interested in higher meanings, the search for God and truth will be very important. So it's a beautiful placement of Neptune. Interest in religions and mysticism, but usually, like I said before, like a rather different type of spirituality than the prevailing one in society. Let's see. And there's, you have to watch out. I don't see any bad aspects. I think there's a sextile with Neptune. Watch out for like being part of a cult, but I don't see any difficult aspects. But like basically the gates are wide open towards you in higher meaning and higher learning. But yeah, like for example, like it says, I wrote my notes, do not join that brainwashing Hare Krishna group, no matter if they seem all happy and chanting. In case you travel a lot abroad, and you probably will, observe the foreign religions as a cultural phenomenon and do not indulge in taking part in rituals or have a prolonged stay in a monastery or other secluded communities. So it's really important stuff. It can bring confusion around higher education, which makes the studies maybe chaotic and make you kind of approach them passively unless you're like really like your heart is in them. And be sure that you reserve your rights. And the best thing is to have a dear person to keep track of all the legal actions you take to protect your work. Neptune may give you too much carelessness in your dealings with the system. So that's like if you're an artist, and indicate losses of income due to wrong movements. It's a pity to write a wonderful book only to have the rights stolen or do something else stupid enough that would diminish the gains. So also remember that always relying on something higher is not a correct perception of reality. Yes, there exist higher things than us, but these are strongly interconnected with us. Yes, so important. They are actually a part of us and even created by us. Thus, never be passive and do not wait for miracles to fall from the heavens. You must actually move your own hand to create the miracle it will eventually become reality. Okay, very interesting. So tons of manifestation potential too. Midheaven, the ninth house, maybe your career has something to do with philosophy or with traveling or with this search for truth, because it's with that everything I just said about Neptune. And then I want to see this. So the nodes, square moon, you might have some like difficult, like I read that last time. There could be some like past life issues with the mother potentially, not necessarily. I read that whole one last time. I know I did. Anyways, okay. Uranus ruling the 10th house or Aquarius, you will be ingenious and original in your chosen profession, right? You probably want a more unconventional career path, which is already shown by the like people who have these like Neptune and Uranus up here, this part of the chart. They're usually people who like it almost feels like they have no choice but to do something for the good of the people for a career. It's like if they do something that's like for the ego, it just like doesn't work, But it's not to say you can't make money or you can't like, I don't know. I just have a feeling that like if you're doing like what you're meant to be doing, like the money stuff will be I just have this feeling will be taken care of, but don't quote me on that. But that's just, a channel or whatever you want to call it. Jupiter 10th house retrograde also. So, Jupiter Aquarius. So that makes one like Jupiter retrograde can make someone more like it can make the growth, like lots of inner growth. It can like kind of push that like expansion, that growth, like within. So it's not bad or anything. And in Aquarius, it makes you just like really all about all like the new technology, but really like humanitarianism as a whole is super, super important to you, right? Like basically just like being able to, and also like it's very good for like friends, very good for like being just kind of like an inventive person, like very socially aware, right? And just like really, really good with like coming up with unique and innovative ways to improve the world, right? And it gives you an ability to just be different, to like think differently, almost like genius energy, right? Like think outside the box. Also super optimistic, like for the future. Very just bright feel. I like this placement. And it's just like you're so good at connecting with other people. So like it's just like a very, very good talent, and to see things from other people's perspective is like a skill you have with your earth. And you don't have a grand trine, but you have an elemental grand trine with Jupiter, Sun, and well, actually goes 0, 12, 24. Damn. So there is kind of like this mathematical thing going on. And then the vertex is 22. But yeah. So yeah, inspirational. A seeker for the new and inspirational, very humanitarian. And then 10th house, I already told you, it's like you're searching for the meaning of life within your profession, and you'll have lots of guardian angel like energy when it comes to your profession, your career. Okay, so yeah, 10th house Jupiter people are people that just like they're successful. They just get success. Like as long as they're not going down the wrong path, like they tend to just like get lucky by meeting the right people at the right time that lead them to the stuff like that for career. But the important thing is that your career is connected to your heart. Like I was saying before, like people with the Neptune Uranus, it's like they have no choice but to like do something for the good of the people, do something that might even feel like it's like a sacrifice, like they're sacrificing their ego for their soul, for the career. So Pisces, 11th house, you have your south node here. So there's a lot of like been there, done that with this. That's just like really enjoying spiritual and artistic pastimes with your friends and having like a spiritual tribe. having lots of compassionate friends, having compassion for your friends. Maybe there's like a humane purpose to the friend groups. And you are definitely like the nurturer within your friend groups, and also love to be nurtured and feel really, really safe and loved and have like a spiritual connection. And yeah, you feel most cared for. This is like with your series and also here. When you're like experiencing at one mint with the world, and you really care for others by relieving their pain. So it's very like, compassionate placement. And then with your South Node there, you're just like a natural healer. But in this life, you're meant to, become dedicated to the service of others and overcoming the tendency to daydream and feel overwhelmed and then just not do it. It's about action, right? And to put your compassion and wisdom to practical use for humanity. I already said that. It's just in other words. And also it's a quest to create your own destiny. You need to give up your personal dreams and develop self-discipline to build a creative life. Okay, so 12th house ruled by Aries. So I should get my book out. So with Saturn in there, oh wait, they have Saturn. I wonder what they say about Saturn in the 12th house. I think they have Saturn in here. One second. I'm gonna say some extra things. Another thing about the 6th house sun is that like it's about hard work and useful service to others. And just like, yeah, watching out for perfectionism. It says, therefore, your personal success actually lies somewhere in those thankless chores no one else wants to do. But that's not necessarily what it is. I've already kind of given you the whole glimpse of how that 0 degree, it's like a new star and how it can be tons of blessings and you can serve others like in a way where you're actually also serving yourself. I know you're young, so don't get all like sometimes when people are really young and I give them readings, they feel overwhelmed because like I haven't done this stuff yet. But it's like, look, this is like I would say this reading the way I would the same way to a 2-year-old, to a 10-year-old, to a 20-year-old, to a 30, 40. It does not matter. And you have so much time, and life just evolves in crazy ways. Okay, Saturn in the 12th house. Well, okay, so there's Saturn. Oh my god. Oh yeah, it's not that much writing. Okay, so I want to read this one. So your soul's karmic lesson this lifetime is emotional wholeness, which means your crippling insecurities, heavy responsibilities, and severe limitations, which will always be experienced in those areas of life that are fundamental. I should share this while I'm doing this. No. Okay. So experiencing those areas of life that are fundamental to healing the unconscious past. In general, this would be the psychological strength, emotional health, and internal soul areas of life, in particular your spiritual life. This is why you were forced to cope with some type of profound loss or emotional sacrifice in your formative years, such as father who faded away from your life at an early age, a rejected parent who failed to respond to your basic emotional needs, or an unhealthy upbringing that lacked the authority, stability, or protection you needed to feel safe. This is the karmic classroom of childhood lost. The Saturn house were being made to feel either physically, mentally, or emotionally abandoned when you were younger as a mandatory burden of hopelessness for getting in. Being instilled with a profound sense of guilt and unworthiness because of it is the only real hope you have of ever getting out. There's really no better motivation of seeking to become part of something that is greater than yourself and committed to a higher cause and harboring an irrational belief that you'll only be left alone to fend for yourself by anyone lesser who isn't. No wonder your emotional suffering was necessary back then. This Saturn was teaching you how to develop the unconditional faith, creative imagination, and psychological strength you needed to achieve your divine objective today, which is forgiveness. With a 12th house Saturn, it is now your karmic responsibility to provide compassion to those people who need the most. This, according to the cosmos, is really just a matter of forgiving all the people that you think deserve it the least. So let go of them in your past, because even though you and your soul are destined back in the glory of spiritual success for the rest of eternity, it won't be before you spent at least 29 and a half years on this planet earning it. Okay, and then I want to talk about the 12th house. In Aries, and then finish up. So Aries, because it's interesting that Aries rules your 12th, because then Mars rules your 12th. You got Saturn there, as we mentioned. Because one sec. So you can like with Aries 12th house, you can definitely fear being overwhelmed by other people's emotions and then losing your sense of self. And also you can like find yourself like fighting the battles of others, and you really need time out from life to just like rejuvenate and then like renew your direction. And that kind of goes back to that like energy of like spending a little alone time, you know? So, okay, your soul's previous existence was one of personal independence and physical ambition. Although you were a real force to be reckoned with in this past incarnation, a debilitating personal defeat forced you to bury your self-esteem in the house of. Now you see it, now you don't. As a result, your powerful ego always escapes initial detection in this life, which is why you are surprisingly aggressive, much more competitive than you appear, and secretly burdened by unconscious anger from the past. Unfortunately, if this buried fury is left unaddressed, it becomes a lethal disadvantage to you as well as a concealed danger to others. While your capable past has left you with both an ability to operate skillfully behind the scenes and a preference for secret planning or covert activities, it has also instilled in you an aptness for deeper mind subjects such as hypnosis, dreams, or psychology. Your profound courage and instinctive decisiveness are truly your hidden strengths, but the impatient ego that comes with them is likely to cause as much undoing in this lifetime as it did previously. Passion is your weakness. Predictability, however, sex and physical activity are your addictions. A decided effort must be made to stop unconsciously avoiding the leadership roles you desire by being drawn to dangerous situations or confrontational people. Past influences and experiences include physical competition, law enforcement, martial arts, weaponry, the military, politics, psychology, or surgery. You can be a deadly bully in sheep's clothing. The advice is stay away from sharp objects in the hands of angry adversaries. All right. I don't know about that one. That was a little bit. Take what you want from that one. I don't always read that book. But anyways, ruled by Mars, so it makes sense that, yeah, and with Saturn there, kind of carrying over some of that in this life. But before I stop this video, I still don't feel satisfied with the Saturn. I just want to go into my own personal notes. Okay, so Saturn 12th house. Okay. So yeah, it's very difficult. So it rules fears. The presence of this can induce quite a lot of them. So there can be self-limitation that comes from that. Okay, yes. There can be a fear of dreaming, which in turn leads to despair and melancholy. Many times, if it is Saturn's pessimism that actually keeps the individual away from achieving their inner wishes. So it's like getting in touch with that, right? But I feel like you, with your whatever creative outlet you have, is like the key to this. The 12th house is responsible for the last 2 hours before birth, and Saturn here can indicate a lot of pressure in your mother's womb. And I've heard this from clients before. They've agreed that this actually happened. Birth itself may have been difficult, a quite traumatic first experience for the newborn. This pattern may trigger quite a lot of fears towards life, as the navel will subconsciously isolate herself from the world in order to recreate the more secure surroundings of being in the mother's body. Okay. See, it's another thing that's like, it's not the best for Oh, it's not close to the ascendant though, so it's not that bad. Yeah. But like for health, just like it's another thing to watch out. Like just, you don't have indicators in your chart for bad health, by the way. You don't. But just yeah, watching that with Saturn in 12th house. And you don't have like yeah, most of it just comes from worries and guilt. So it's just like we've talked about that before in this reading, right? Like feeling responsible about things you should not feel responsible for, blaming yourself, like the classic Libra stuff, like blaming yourself when it wasn't you, right? So it's like about boundaries on like a psychological level too. So anxiety and melancholy may appear without apparent reasons, and there can be borders placed on self-expression. The native may actually not talk about their deeper thoughts to anyone and suffer in solitude. In addition, she could frequently hide such behaviors in a desperate attempt to appear well in other people's eyes. So this can even create a person that subconsciously enjoys the suffering and does not open up towards others in order to not lose it. So it can also, another thing is it can bring disappointment through hidden enemies who can frequently be of old age, because Saturn was old age. And the best advice is to stop taking life so seriously. Fear can be the only wall standing between a human and their happiness. So if you have this placement, try to be honest with yourself about your life path. Do you really want to be happy, or you enjoy your seclusion? Do you really want to get rid of your fears, or are they a comfortable excuse to continue your antisocial patterns, which I doubt really exists fully with the Libra? Being a solitary person is not something negative by itself, yet experiencing the burden of self-martyrdom is not the wisest choice. Wear a smile on your face, and understand that it is in your hands to change your everyday reality moment by moment. Learn to accept the daily small pleasures that life grants you, as it does to anyone, no matter how difficult or easy. I like that one more. But like the last part, the part that was kind of a little bit more like difficult, I don't really see so much with you. And honestly, if I was doing a different kind of chart, Saturn might, like, if I wasn't doing a whole sign, Saturn could land in the 11th. So Saturn in the 11th house is a lot more about like, which kind of goes against the rest of your chart, because I feel like you're quite popular with like Gemini, Libra with the Gemini moon. But yeah, that one, like if it was in the 11th house, it'd be more about like choosing your friends close, like kind of difficulty with like friends and stuff, and like not having that many friends, or like being very, very choosy and having lots of restrictions in that area. But let's not go there. That's on the chart. It's on the chart I'm doing, at least. Anyways, thank you so much. Once again, thanks for being so gracious and allowing me to redo this. I didn't plan on going this long again. I thought this one would be short, but we have made another 90-minute one. But hey, you deserve it. So yeah, about the follow-up, I think you said something to me. Sorry, so many people I'm forgetting. But yeah, just I'll message me and we can figure it out. I'll give you the same, just remind me, I'll give you like the same price that would have been if you purchased the reading regularly. And I really look forward to hopefully talking to you. All right, thank you. Ciao.